This is a quick road test of a Toyota Corolla Verso. It's a 1.8 T-Spirit version, manual, registered GV06NBF. Mileage at the start of the road test is 42,091 miles. The reason we do these road tests is basically because we're selling to people all over the near continent and the extremes of the UK. We feel it's right that if people are willing to invest that time and energy to come and see us, that you get to see the car in operation before you come to us. That way, obviously, if there's any issues, I can relay them back to you, and if be as honest as I can, with the car that I'm driving, the one that you're coming to see, hopefully. What I try and do also is to mimic what you'll do yourself when you come and see the car, which is basically to go through the car one by one and hopefully sort of just relay back to you any feedback I might have on the car. Just to point out, the car literally has just arrived to us, not been cleaned, valeted, touched or otherwise. We always have them driven in, just so if there are any issues, then obviously they can be taken straight back to the dealers where we buy them from if there was any problems. Right, starting with the engine starts absolutely first turn of the key. Very, very smooth engines anyway. This one, with the low mileage, there's no strange noises, there's no vibrations, there's certainly no smoke or clattering from under the bonnet. It's a very, very sweet engine. Looking at the dashboard now, no warning lights on the car relating to the engine or anything else for that matter. The engine pulls very sweetly through the revs, and it's very typical sort of Japanese engine. It goes about its business in a really unflustered way, and it's well known for taking quite huge mileages in their stride. The engine then obviously feeds through clutch and gearbox. Clutch is light as a feather. There's no squeaks or crunches from the clutch pedal when you push it in or out. No discernible change in engine notes when the clutch is in or out either. No vibrations. That's something you'd be looking at more on diesels, in fairness, but it does have its. It is worth checking on the petrols as well. The gearbox, typical Toyota gearbox, very well done. It's got a nice gear change. I can't detect a hint of wear in the linkage. It's absolutely as tight as a drum. It really is. It's hello. You probably didn't want to do that. As I said, I generally can't detect any wear in it at all. Even the gear lever, the chrome on top, the leather surrounds in wonderful condition. Car tracks absolutely straight, just follows the contour of the road, which is what it's meant to do. They're obviously all meant to go slightly to the left as the rain runs off the roads. So, and this one is absolutely fine. There's no vibrations back through the steering. Even at speed now, there's nothing there to suggest that there's a wheel out of balance or otherwise. Suspension, they're always a very smooth riding, these Versos. I've had a couple of them for family use, and they're a very, very comfortable car actually. Suspension's drumming up, no noises other than what should come up through the car. Obviously you can hear it go over a bump, but I've got no kind of aftershocks, no shudders or clanking, which again, that can be things like anti-roll bar links and ball joints and that kind of stuff. Track rod ends where they've got a bit of wear in them can sort of come back through as these sort of annoying sort of metallic chatterings underneath. But there's nothing. It is really, really tight. And any that I've ever driven, even with much lower mileage ones. Brakes on the car, just going to quickly do it. Yep, rock solid. Pedals exactly the right position. No pulsing on the brake pedal, so again suggests that the brake discs are in good order. They're not warped or damaged in any way. It's a beautiful warm spring day today. Air conditioning's on and it's blowing out ice cold air out of the air conditioning system, so that's beautifully charged in the car. Dashboard is in superb condition. Plastics are all really, really good. There's a couple of tiny little light marks on the glove box down there that I can see, but it has a real crispness about the interior here. Even though it's not been cleaned, it's very, very nice, and they are quite beautifully made as well. I've had a VW Touran, which was VW, I assumed it was going to be a well-made car, and it shook and it rattled and it fell apart with it. It was just not a nice car. This is a different league to those. Not as fancy a badge, but certainly a better car in reality. As I'm driving along, just listening out for kind of noises that shouldn't be there, sort of wind intrusion, where you might have a windscreen seal perished, or a seal on the door. But again, all very, very quiet in here. Dashboard, every gauge works perfectly. There's no pixelation on the readouts. I've got to be honest. I do fault these cars on test drives. If you've seen them in my previous ones, you'll know that if there's something to report, I will do so. But as a driver insinuated when I dropped it to me a minute ago, this particular one drives absolutely beautifully. Worth pointing out also, these are the sort of roads you'll be driving on at our new site here, just off the motorway. It's a lovely, tranquil site, very, very quiet roads, where you can get to enjoy your road test rather than when we were in Bristol previously for the last 15 years. It was quite traumatic for people arriving and basically hitting the city centre traffic. This is just a lovely quiet road, and you'll thoroughly enjoy any test of the car. But from the brief test I've had in the vehicle, I can honestly say I cannot fault the vehicle mechanically in terms of how it drives. It drives absolutely beautifully. Engine, gearbox, every button I've pressed thus far has worked absolutely perfectly. And so whoever's had this car, because I know it was, from memory, it was just a privately owned vehicle, and Toyota were the first owners, so it's got beautiful ownership credentials. But if I've missed anything on the road test, please don't hesitate, please do give us a call.